Kash is a former BC Solicitor General and the former Chief of Police of West Vancouver Police Department. He joins us tonight from Richmond, BC. Thanks, Kash, for being here. So this incident, we just got that update from police. We heard Sarah there. And there was another update that we got from them as well yesterday on that seemingly random attack where the guy was punched in the head. They now have a suspect in custody. This was in the middle of the morning at 11:30. Should folks in Vancouver be concerned about their safety when you've got two incidents kind of back to back that are very violent in nature?
Well, these incidents occur in a very frequent fashion in particular areas in Vancouver. In the area where this incident took place, there's been murders that take place there. There's been a person that had their hand cut off, all by people that are suffering from some type of psychotic episode, whether it's related to their acute drug addiction or some type of severe mental health issues such as schizophrenia. So there are areas of Vancouver that we have to be very cognizant of. This is an area that is frequented by many people in their daily activities, whether they're going out for dinner, going out for breakfast, going out for a walk, or going to work. This is an urban center. And it's not a down and out area similar to the downtown east side, which should make no difference. However, we need to be cognizant of the areas we're in because these people are occupying these public spaces in a violent fashion.
So are police dealing with an uphill battle right now when it comes to this? And I want to be clear for the audience, we don't know the specifics in terms of this individual suspect and whether or not they faced addiction issues, mental health issues. There's more information that needs to come out. But in general, right now, do you think police have kind of the deck stacked against them when it comes to policing this downtown area?
Well, they do, and simply throwing more resources from the police at it is not the solution to this particular problem. And I can tell you, in all likelihood, what I described here of what takes place at the street level crime, whether it's someone related to, as I mentioned, drugs or mental health, in all likelihood, this is probably what happened, because what normal person would go into a restaurant at 11:30, steal alcohol, steal a knife, and go across and try and steal cigarettes and threaten to kill people? So in all likelihood, let's let it be known that this is a individual that most likely frequents these public spaces, and he's one of many that are out there causing havoc on our streets.
So what is the message that government needs to take away from this in terms of those additional resources and trying to battle some of the underlying causes for this, the socioeconomic causes for what we are seeing?
Well, whether it's socioeconomic or whether it's related to some type of health issues. Government is very well versed on what has taken place on our streets. They're not as well attuned to what the solutions are to this particular problem. And all they have to do is look around and look at the advantageous that as other societies, other cities have used in trying to have secure care for these people. They need to be removed from public spaces. They need to be in treatment centers. They need to be held in a humane way, not an inhumane way of living on the streets and trying to survive on the streets, especially as we enter a time of the season where it's very cold out there. So let's be very, very upfront here. There's a lot of talk coming from policymakers and government officials. There's very little action, so the community doesn't really feel safe because of their inaction, which leaves these people out on the streets and causes vulnerability to our public.
Let's talk a little bit about the specifics of this investigation and how it will proceed. This independent third party now investigating this because there was an officer drew his gun, or several, and there was a police-involved shooting here. Talk to me a little bit about, once that mechanism is enacted, what the process is moving forward.
Well, the process, there's going to be three agencies that are involved in this at the outset. One is you'll have the major crime section of the Vancouver Police Department that will be looking at the stabbing against the individual and the harm caused to the other individuals and whether they have a criminal offense, which they most likely do, of robbery. You're also going to have the coroner's department involved in this simply because you have a death of an individual. And of course, the Independent Investigation Office, which investigates all police-involved incidents where serious harm or death has occurred. And they will look at whether the level of force was appropriate in these circumstances. And of course, the coroner will probably most likely look at some type of inquest to see if we can get to some policy changes to ensure these incidents don't reoccur.
And is that your fear? Do you think that this will reoccur at some point?
Absolutely. Just a couple blocks away, we had a person that was murdered, and another person by the same suspect had their hand cut off by someone that was suffering from a significant mental health issue, mostly related to schizophrenia. And that occurred early in the morning hours, not too far from the location of today's event. You talked about the fact that we had an individual that was shown on video sucker punching someone. Now I find out that he's also responsible for 3 previous incidents of that nature. So there's no signs of this abating, whether the mayor hires 100 mental health workers and 100 police officers. It's simply because the resources, the enforcement agencies, the health issues, they're so overwhelmed because of the people that are out there on the streets, in the public, with this type of problem. And unless we have clear-cut policy changes that make it so that we can create safer streets, we can deal with the urban decay, we can deal with the street-level crime that's caused by these people, we're going to carry on in this fashion. And Travis, you and I are going to be talking about this once again.
Yeah, well, I certainly hope that there are solutions at some point. Kash, appreciate your perspective on this and your expertise tonight. That was Kash Heed. Kash is a former BC Solicitor General and the former Chief of Police of the West Vancouver Police Department, joining us from Richmond, BC.